All right, greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you so much for joining us. As we always do, we just want to thank you all for the support that you have given over these years. Again, thank you so much. Also, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Again, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com while you're there. Subscribe, join the email list. Again, please join the email list so you guys can stay up to date in regards to what's going on with the brand. Also, like, share, subscribe. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Really means a lot so we can continue to grow. We are approaching, excuse me, we are approaching 100,000 subscribers. So, like I said, I have a why did Nigeria ban cryptocurrency? We'll get into that. Uh, we are approaching 100,000, so 100,000 subscribers. So once we hit that 100K mark, I have a giveaway for you guys, and I'll probably go grab it during the show so I can show you all. I'll probably wait till we get to 90,000 before I show you guys the what we're giving away. Let's see here. What else is on the announcements? Oh, tour April 21st to the 30th. April 21st to the 30th. We're going to Sierra Leone. If you would like to join us, please go to dynastymirror.com and send me a message, and I will get the info to you. And a lot of people have been asking, where can I get my Africa is my therapy shirt at? Go to dynastymirror.com, and while you're there, you'll see the store for Ile Amir, where you can buy the shirts at. So that is it for the announcement. So we're going to jump into the topic. And as we know, Gaddafi, who was, wrongfully assassinated back in 2011, I think it was, somewhere around there, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. He had a plan to, I guess, form one currency for all of Africa, and it was going to be called the Afro, and it was going to be backed by gold. But unfortunately, he was taken out. In West Africa, you have the ECOWAS countries. They were going to roll out the ECHO back in 2020, but I've been back and forth to West Africa, and I have not seen one ECHO. So now we have crypto that is out. And the question is crypto the best option for one, I would say one African or one coin that will for a single Africa currency? Will crypto be the best option? Go ahead and take it away, brother Lynell. Go ahead and introduce yourself, shout out your channel and all that good stuff.
Hello, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. As you all know, my name is Crypto World Lynell. I run a I run a YouTube channel, Crypto World Lynell. The name and the logo, as you see, and what I do is I do daily cryptocurrency news and insights, where I keep you in the loop in the major happenings, what's going on in the cryptocurrency world. It's in podcast form, 30 to 35 minutes long, each and every day, 6 to 7 days a week, depending on the amount of news that's coming out. So we'll keep you all in the loop, every video in the morning time, so you can listen to the video while you're going to work, jogging, cooking, breakfast, or just brushing your teeth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, one coin, one single currency. Do
So
you think somebody said the Afro coin? The Afro coin. There we go. But we have several different projects on the continent right now. We have the A coin with Acon, and then I don't know much about it. I'm still learning. Cardano, ADA. People keep saying they're doing a lot in Africa. Do you know anything about that?
yeah, to start with the Acoin, Acon, that's more regulated to Senegal, a
Mm.
section of Senegal. The government gave him some land to build out a project slash city, a more of a blockchain slash technologically advanced city that will operate on the coin called Acoin. As far as Cardano, from what I've been told by people that are familiar with the situation there in East Africa, Cardano is doing a lot of things along East African coast, such as Ethiopia, Tanzania, Kenya. A couple of years ago, I want to say 2019, Cardano signed a MOU, memorandum of understanding, with the Ethiopian government to have them put. Oh, okay. We got some feedback.
Oh, let me turn it down.
Of
Is that better or
Yeah,
okay? Go ahead.
to it's a memorandum. They signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ethiopian government for to help them with their governmental issues, not issues, but their to make to help them be more efficient and effective in their government duties.
Mhm.
Um, a few more, from what like I said, from my understanding, there are also other dealings in place within East Africa. I haven't heard anything of Cardano being in Central Africa or Western Africa, Northern Africa, or South Africa, but I've heard them being more and deeper in East Africa. And
Okay.
I understand what people will say, okay, Cardano could be the one, but I still will go with Bitcoin only because when you talk about, not specifically you, but in general, you in general,
Right.
people in general talk about one currency for Africa, it would have to be Bitcoin. Only because the reason I say that is because the entire world is moving to that. So even if
Right.
Africa or different countries in Africa say, well, we don't know, we don't want it, we want to block it, case in point, Nigeria, those rules won't be in place for long. Another example is India. India, since 2017, India has been trying to block cryptocurrency. There's been cases where there were exchanges set up in India. Indian government officials sent out the police to shut down the exchanges. There have been Bitcoin ATM machines dotted along out around the Indian subcontinent. The government confiscated them. Then the government tried to issue a law saying that if you own cryptocurrency, you must tell us. If you don't tell us, we'll put you in jail for 10 years and give
Wow.
you a fine. You're right. This has been going on throughout the years. But now
Sorry to cut you off. Do you think something like that will continue, like will spread to other countries? Like if you have cryptocurrency, you don't tell us, we're gonna lock you up. Do you think?
they can try. But the thing is, since so many countries are adapting it, they'll be the oddball out. And they can't afford, the countries can't afford, especially lower tier countries, can't afford to essentially shoot themselves in the foot while the rest of the world is adopting this and moving along. I just read an article today where the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI, is looking to do central bank digital currencies, CBDCs,
Wow.
and those laws that they were trying to force people to, ban cryptocurrency. Now you have physical crypto exchanges, about 200 right now,
Mhm.
around the Indian subcontinent. So all these years of them trying to outlaw cryptocurrency, force people not to use it, it was to no avail. And now you have other countries such as China, such as Pakistan, has allowed cryptocurrency mining. I think Iran has allowed cryptocurrency mining. Now you're starting to see countries around the world accepting that Bitcoin is something that's going to stay, it's going to grow in the future. And now they're saying, okay, we need a piece of this somehow in any number of ways. So now you're seeing countries say, hey, come to our country and set up mining facilities so that country can have a say so in the mining slice of Bitcoin, instead of the mining power being centralized in China or Russia or Europe or America. You're seeing other countries around the world say, okay, we want to say in this. We want to have mining facilities in our country. So we have a say in this growing global currency. And to bring that back to Africa,
All right.
yes, there's going to be some countries that say, okay, we accept this. You all can, use it and so forth and so forth. Yes, you're going to have some countries that are going to be in the middle, and you're going to have some countries that say, no, we don't want this. those countries who are in the middle and who want to push back against Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and in particular Bitcoin, they can't they can't stand on in that corner for long because a lot of the economies on Africa are not is not to the level of a China or America. And
Right.
now you have China is accepting cryptocurrency. You have Japan accepting cryptocurrencies. You have these other top tier economies in the world accepting cryptocurrencies. So you would just have to get in line. You know, you have to be rank and file and say, okay, we're going to accept it. And now the question is, will that look like? So you, me personally, I tell people to look at Bitcoin as a global currency, not a global reserve currency, but as a global currency. It can't work its way into that because a global reserve currency is basically a currency that is how regular people use money as a medium of exchange. Now think of it on a global scale where countries use a currency as a medium of trade and to pay each other for goods and services on a global level. It Bitcoin can grow into that. It would just have to, speed up and all that, but it can grow into that. But now I think it's more of a global currency where people can use it in any other country around the world. It is actually growing into that.
Now, somebody in the chat room, guys, hit the like button. As for the chat room, please hit that like button. Let's see here. If Apple creates a digital wallet, that will crush the game. Now, can you explain what happened today when Tesla, I guess, acquired $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin? And then there was a rumor that I read. In fact, and guys, before we even go there, let me give the disclaimer. Uh, this is for, we're just having a discussion. Invest at your own risk. Okay. Again, this is a general discussion. Invest at your own risk. So there is a rumor saying that Apple is on the verge of acquiring Bitcoin too. Did you hear that at all? And can you explain to people what happened today when, I guess Tesla
Yeah.
or boy Elon Musk bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin?
I haven't heard that rumor. If that rumor is true, that would be big because Apple is a $1 trillion company. Actually, Apple is a $2.2 trillion company. Apple is the biggest company in the world by
Mhm.
market cap.
Right.
Tesla is not too far away from Apple. It's at like a $800 billion. But what happened today? Elon Musk and Tesla purchased $1.5 billion in it. And I got the CNBC notification this morning. I just got done with my show early this morning. I got the CNBC notification on my watch and I saw it. I'm like, what? And I went opened up another browser, looked it up, and it was true. I'm like, this is big. This is actually big. So I don't know specifically if they purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and they're custodying it themselves, or if they went through a custody agency or a custody company like Grayscale and purchased shares of their Bitcoin trust totaling $1.5 billion. You have companies out here that are purchasing Bitcoin, but they're not custodying it. Like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, that's another way for people to have exposure to Bitcoin through classical means, through brokers such as E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, so forth and so forth. For every share in a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, ticker symbol GBTC, you're actually exposed to 0.00095 BTC.
Okay.
So you have companies such as Mass Mutual saying, hey, we own 50,000 Bitcoin. Well, they own that 50,000 Bitcoin through Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Well, they purchased 600,000 shares of GBTC, giving them the equivalent of 50,000 Bitcoin. So I still have to find out how Tesla did it, if they actually purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, or they went through a custody service giving them exposure to Bitcoin. Either way, they have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now they hold Bitcoin on their asset balance sheet. And the article also said not only did they purchase $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, they also are going to start accepting Bitcoin as a payment option for their products. And their products is not only Tesla cars, they have the batteries, they
Right.
have the solar panels for the houses, and they can even bleed over to other ventures that Tesla has. So it's and I read a snippet of the report saying that they may or may not sell Bitcoin at the purchase, meaning they may keep the Bitcoin for any uh, services that are bought with Bitcoin. But I haven't read the full SEC filing, but I had to find that out how they went about doing it. But it is big. It is absolutely big.
Because Bitcoin now is close. It's approaching 45 racks now.
45 racks, yeah. And it's
Almost.
important. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. I said, like, almost approaching
Yeah. And,
45,000.
and it's important to
Oh,
notice.
hold on. It's 45,000. It's some change.
Right. And it's
Wow.
important. And it's important to realize once we get to these high price levels, the psychological numbers when we were in the like 3,000, 4,000 levels, the psychological numbers was 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000, 12,500. Now when you get to these high levels, the human psychological number is 45,000, fifty
Right.
thousand, 60,000, 75,000. It
Right.
jumps. You start to see the price jump more and more to these bigger round numbers, you know. So you can we're in price discovery territory. No, there's nothing to the left on a chart that is higher than this price. This is blue skies. Once you hit blue sky, prices can run price because we're in price discovery territory. So it's interesting. Now that rumor about Apple, if that is true, you
Just a
can,
rumor. It's a rumor. It's a
yeah.
rumor.
Even now, even now with Tesla, we know that Tesla done it, so we can just go with what a bird in the hand better than one in the bush.
Mhm.
You can actually see corporate FOMO because when there's a well-known company getting into something, other countries will say, "Okay, this must be big." We know MicroStrategy is in, but not too many people heard of MicroStrategy before. Mass Mutual was a well-known company. It was it's an insurance-based company.
Yeah, man, future, absolutely.
Right. So when these household name companies start to get into cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin, then we could see a corporate FOMO.
Brother, there's some it's like you I don't know if you rub it on the mic or like a staticky when you
Oh,
talk.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, there we go. Guys, hit that like button as you come to the chat room again. Please hit the like button again. Hit the like button. Also, too, if you're interested um, in getting an opportunity in which you get paid in Bitcoin and Ethereum, my affiliate link is right there on the chat in the chat room on the screen and in the description. Click on that, sign up as an affiliate, and I will get back to you. Now, some people are saying when it comes to this one currency for Africa, if it's crypto, why Bitcoin? Why can't we create our own African coin? Does that matter, or like, what are your thoughts on that?
You can still create it. Bitcoin can because it's no one to rule all. You can still have different payment options. Bitcoin can still be, like I said, it's going to be a global thing. So just because it's a global currency or going to be a global currency does not mean that other sovereign currencies will cease to exist. They're still going to be here. It's just you're going to have this more global currency where people can go to anywhere in the world and just work with Bitcoin. But you can still do a currency that is strictly African. You can still do that, but I would say you can look to how Bitcoin is doing it
Mhm.
because everything is going digital. You can see how Bitcoin is working, how it's designed, its features, and base it off of that because it's on a blockchain. And remember, blockchain is a continuously updated ledger that everybody agree upon, and you can use that as the basis for people to have this single African currency. Now, it may be a fiat currency. It depends if it's a fiat currency or backed by something we don't know, but you can still have a single African country, not country, but currency. But Bitcoin is more of a global where Africans can go to, Africans do trade everywhere around the world. They can use Bitcoin to go to whatever country they're trying to buy goods and services from, buy it in Bitcoin and return it back. So now you don't necessarily have to exchange from an Afro coin to a Chinese yuan or a Japanese yen or a European euro or American dollar. You can actually go via Bitcoin. So you can still have a central African coin. You can still do that or a currency.
I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he said he's concerned that in 2017 when we had the run up, um, when it got to like 18, 20,000, that's when black folks started getting into it. And then all of a sudden it dipped and there's a lot of black wealth that was lost. He thinks the same thing is going on, you know.
Well, one of the differentiating facts about 2017, because I was there in 2017,
Uh,
that was more of a retail FOMO, meaning everyday people get into the space. I've heard stories of people taking out second mortgages to
oh, yeah.
invest,
Yeah.
invest in the Bitcoin. And excuse me, I heard stories of people doing that with GameStop now. So those stories never end. You're going to always have people that do that, taking out loans, credit cards, blah, blah, blah. But the 2017 was more of a retail focus. You didn't have a lot of corporations in it. You had Fidelity in the space, but they wasn't really in it in terms of buying Bitcoin. Later on, we heard that they were mining Bitcoin. The CEO of Fidelity, Abigail Johnson, said that they've been in crypto space since 2014, but no one knew that. The corporations, if they were in crypto at that time,
I have to interrupt this program. Bitcoin is at 46,000. All right, go ahead.
I know, right? It's fun to look at. It's fun to look at, you know. But we didn't know what corporations were in it. We heard rumors and influencers were saying, "Oh, they're in it too," but we had no real concrete evidence unless you want to go deep diving into paperwork, that alluded to it. But now we know they're in it. Grayscale purchases 18 times, like in some days they purchase 18 times the amount of Bitcoin that are put into circulation on any given day. Well, some days, not any given day, some days. So they're buying it because corporations are looking to them to custody their Bitcoin. So we know we have hard evidence that tells us that more corporations are in this space. Now, a lot of times what happens is when people come into crypto, they're first time investors. And if people that are first time investors, those are some of the weakest hands in the world, meaning if the price dips just a little bit, they're out. They gone. They sell it because they're risk averse. They're not used to this fluctuations. Me, I came from the stock world. I'm a dividend investor. I love dividend investing. So I came from the stock world. So I understand these fluctuations in price. Just when Bitcoin hit $42,000 last month, it dipped $12,000 to $30,000. But there were buyers there willing and ready to buy up Bitcoin at those low prices, thus pushing the price up. Price went sideways, signifying an accumulation. And now you're seeing the price going higher. If Bitcoin, it dipped $12,000, just to say back in
Oh,
2017.
what's crazy? I think it started to cut you off. I think this time last week or earlier last week, Bitcoin's like what 33,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
What?
we're seeing people, more and more people, more and more companies, more and more hedge funds, more and more family offices, deep pocketed individuals. There's this famous guy. I know people know his name, but Chamath Palihapitiya, he's to work for Facebook. He's a billionaire.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that guy. People like that. We just found out that Mark Cuban been in the space. He been in the space, but in the past we've heard stories of him talking like, "Oh, it's a bubble," but all the time while he was saying it's a bubble, he been in the space.
right,
He said it himself. So now we're getting all this information. So now you're looking at a situation that's okay. All this money is running through Bitcoin. All these other countries around the world, we know they're helping set up mining facilities, and other countries are going to hop on a bandwagon and set up mining facilities. Thus, they're going to be into Bitcoin in some type of way. Then they're going to allow Bitcoin to be used as legal tender in their country. They're going to set up the infrastructure for that to happen. You're going to start to see Bitcoin ATM machines proliferate throughout countries. I know you see it in America, but they're going to be in other countries. So the infrastructure is going to be there. We already have Visa and MasterCard. Visa is will not be left behind. Visa and MasterCard has so many patents on the use of cryptocurrency in terms of being spent on their cards. I've been hearing about that since 2017. You already have Visa and MasterCard logo credit cards where you can spend your cryptocurrency anywhere Visa and MasterCard is accepted. So you're looking at a situation where it's not going anywhere. This is a global currency. It is a global currency. You can have it in Africa, and you can still also have that one currency, like that one currency in Africa. I just think that Bitcoin is in a better situation to be a one currency, because if, remember I said it earlier, it can grow into a world reserve currency, and a world reserve currency is just a medium of exchange that exchange trades and services via from one country to the next. Now you have a continent with 54 countries, people going back and forth, and now they don't have to worry about, oh, Kenyan shillings to South African rand to Nigerian naira. You have Bitcoin that will facilitate that trade easier. So now you can have a situation where a Bitcoin can actually make it more efficient for just people to facilitate trade via African countries. And let's say all African countries accept Bitcoin. Let's say 2/3 of all African countries accept Bitcoin, and
right.
those African countries start to do trade via Bitcoin. It would be foolish for this other 1/3 of African countries to be stubborn and say, "Oh, we don't like it," because they will be left behind. They're at that point they will be forcing their economies to suffer. So those rules, I highly doubt those rules will stand. Highly doubt it.
Okay, so I want you to, so table for one, bro, you cannot afford Bitcoin. Only a handful of people in Africa that can afford it. Bitcoin is 40,000. No, you could buy, you don't have to buy the whole entire Bitcoin.
Yep,
I,
you can buy
I don't
fractions.
I don't think people understand that, because I didn't understand that at first either.
Yep, you can buy fractions, and the denominations are called satoshis. Bitcoin can be denominated to what you would call 100 to 100 millionth of a decimal point, meaning like when you break down a dollar, that's for the person who's listening. When you break down a dollar, you get pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. Bitcoin can be broken down to 100 millionth of a decimal point. So now you have a situation. I post on Twitter, 1 million satoshis equals like $90. Back like months last year. Now 1 million satoshis equals $460, almost $500. That's a huge increase. Now you can buy you don't have to purchase a whole Bitcoin. You can purchase fractions of it, and you can continue to buy that. It's That's the lovely part about it. You don't have to purchase one whole coin. Now, you have something called the I forgot what it's called, but it's called it's an effect where people, instead of buying, they say, well, I can't afford one whole Bitcoin. Then they'll say, well, I can afford one whole Ethereum or one whole XRP or one whole Cardano or one whole Litecoin. They want that
That one whole, like, they just,
right.
right. I know what you're saying. Right.
Yeah, that dopamine, like I own one whole of this.
Exactly.
Right. But you can still purchase Bitcoin. You can purchase $100 worth of Bitcoin or $200 worth, whatever you feel like doing. You can purchase fractions of it. And just because a person or people or a multitude of people can't afford one whole Bitcoin, that does not mean it's not going nowhere. That's an illogical thought.
Well, guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, too, if you're interested in getting paid in Bitcoin and Ethereum, my affiliate links in the chat room. Click on the link, sign up as an affiliate, and we will get you set up. Again, affiliate links in the chat room. It's going at the bottom of the screen. It will also be in the description. We're going to go ahead and open up the lines. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, email is ahuru@searchforahuru.com, ahuru@searchforahuru.com. Again, ahuru@searchforahuru.com. Exactly. It's like gold. I mean, it's like gold. Everyone can afford a kilo of gold, but you can't afford a kilo of gold, but you can buy it by the gram.
And what's
Right.
funny is Bitcoin, one bar, no, is it one? What is it? 1 gram or 1 bar of gold? I forgot. Bitcoin costs more than 1 bar of gold, I think.
Probably one. I think an ounce of gold. I know a gram of gold is probably like $90. Let's see, 1 ounce. No. Ounce of gold. Ounce of gold price is probably ounce of gold is $1,800 per kilo. So a kilo of gold right now is approaching $60,000. Bitcoin
Mhm.
soon might be more than a kilo of gold.
And now that's perspective.
Right.
That's perspective. When you put things in perspective, then people say, "Wow." People look at it differently.
It's approaching it.
Right. People look at it differently because you put it in a different perspective.
Guys, if you'd like to call in, ahuru@searchforahuru.com, ahuru@searchforahuru.com, send me an email and I will send you the link, and you're more than welcome to call in and ask any question that you would like to ask. Let's see here.
Now,
Go ahead.
we've been hearing, well, I've been hearing reports from Grayscale, and you're going to have other companies that allow people to, or companies to purchase Bitcoin and have them custody it. But Grayscale is the leading one, so I'll go with Grayscale. Grayscale has been saying that companies want ROI, return on investments. So they're starting to look at Ethereum, and Grayscale is starting to purchase more and more Ethereum because companies look at Ethereum as a bigger return on investment. That's not to say that they're not big on Bitcoin. It's just that they're looking at their bottom line. They still hold Bitcoin, but they're looking for that return on investment because as all this money printing, the money has to go somewhere.
Right.
And how the money gets into circulation is through credit, through loans, and banks loaning people car loans or house loans or business loans. That's how money gets into the circulation. Well, you have these stock buyback programs and these other programs where companies actually buy assets, and some of that money is going to go into Bitcoin. They're going to buy assets because now you have other companies that come out and say, hey, we're putting Bitcoin on our asset balance sheets to hedge against our purchasing power. And now other companies are going to start doing that, so we could see Bitcoin go higher because of that money printing, and that's how it'll work. That's how it will find its way into other assets that these institutions are going to buy up.
Okay. Now, what's the difference between like as far as the technology that's backing Bitcoin and Ethereum? Like, what's the difference between? Because those are like the big two.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is more of a peer-to-peer system. The white paper states it's a peer-to-peer system. It's mainly for one person to the next. Ethereum is a network. Ethereum wants to be a network where companies and countries run their services on top of Ethereum. Ethereum is known for smart contracts, and a smart contract is nothing more, as of now, it's nothing more than a if this, then that situation. So if this situation happens, then this situation will occur. So you have a situation, let's say I make a bet on the Super Bowl, and me and Joe Dirt goes into a smart contract, and we both put our money into the smart contract. Because I don't trust Joe Dirt to pay me
Right.
my money on time, and he put his him and I put our money into this, and the stipulation of the smart contract is if Tampa Bay wins, I get all the money. That's a smart contract. That's the simple definition or an example of a smart contract. And with Ethereum, you have something called the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. You all can look that up. That's the EEA. It's either the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance or the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. But it's a alliance of about 500 companies that are using or will use Ethereum's network to process certain things, whatever that company chooses to process. And of those companies, you have the likes of Rutgers University, Microsoft, Accenture, JP Morgan Chase. I think Bank of America. No, I don't think it's Bank of America on there, but it's 500 companies as part of this Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. So now you're looking at two different coins with two different use cases. So that's one of the biggest differences between Ethereum and Bitcoin.
All right, guys, hit that like button again, please. Hit that like button. Also, make sure you guys share the content again. Please share the content. Let's see here. Let's see here. We at four. Yeah, I guess you mean 40,000. Well, no, at 46,000 as far as Bitcoin. Lynell, people who don't get involved, right? Like, what are they missing out on?
They're the biggest thing they're missing out on is opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity. Now, I always say this: don't feel when you're going to hear stories of people say, "Oh, I made a million, billion, trillion with cryptocurrency," and that makes people feel bad. That makes people feel like they missed out, and because they didn't make the same amount of money this other person made, then they're going to spike themselves and say, "Well, I'm not investing in it because I didn't get in on the absolute low." I didn't get in when Bitcoin was at $3,825, which was the absolute low back in March 2020. So I'm not going to get in it now. Or they're going to say, I didn't make enough money as this other guy that I know that made X amount of money in Bitcoin. And so I'm not going to get in it. Well, you don't necessarily have to become a Bitcoin millionaire or a crypto millionaire. You can, outside of being that millionaire, and those millionaires was into Bitcoin before you even knew about it, and B, when you didn't want nothing to do about it. In general, I'm talking about in general. When Bitcoin was at $3,800, people were kicking it in the belly, smacking it around, saying, "Man, I want that. I want." It was at $20,000, at $3,000 now. What? I don't want that. I'm gonna lose my money. People
Right.
were saying that. Now it's at $46,000. People are like, "Oh, I wish I would have invested in it when it was at 3,800."
Right.
Well, you don't necessarily have to be a Bitcoin millionaire. Even if you make enough gains in crypto to pay off a bill, to put a dent in your student loan or your child support or your credit card, to pay off a loan, to put a dent in your car note, to put a dent in your mortgage, or to pay off pay off a bill.
Hmm.
People who have less debt in their life, it's documented that they live longer lives.
Right.
So even if you pay off that one or two credit cards or that one or two loan, or take $10,000 off your student loan or take X amount of dollars off your mortgage, that equates directly to you living longer in life.
Right.
Even if you make enough to have, there's some people that may make enough to wipe their debt free. So now they debt free. Do you know how marvelous that can be to a person? That
Right.
they can just walk around debt free. The air smells better. They notice things. You know,
Right.
they for some reason they walk up with a stiff back and a stiff and they chin up to the sky like, wow, like this is something. You know, I didn't become a millionaire in Bitcoin, but I paid off all my debt. And now that next check that come in, they don't have to divvy it up to go toward a credit card or a loan or a car note. They can go out to eat
Right.
and buy that big steak. That right there is a win. So they're missing out. To answer the question, they're missing out on opportunity.
All right. Cool. 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 Cash App gives you 3%. Okay, I guess I got to get me a Cash App card then. Cash App gives you 3% back on purchases in Bitcoin if you use their card.
Yeah. Oh, yep, they're right. I read that story. I'm waiting on. I order mine. I'm waiting on mine. I
Yeah, I'm
think I
ordering one
ordered.
too. I'm ordering
Yeah,
one too.
I, I think I ordered it 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't gotten it yet, so it's gonna take a while. But they're absolutely right. 3% cash back, and I like cash back cards. I
Mhm.
like it. But you receiving cash back in Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Imagine how much of that will be in the future. That's crazy. It's
right.
crazy.
Let's see here. We got somebody who just joined us. Old boy Nim. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, brothers. Can you hear
No
me
problem.
okay?
Hear you just
Mhm.
fine.
All right. The brother was on the other day was talking about, we need to think bigger. So I think this is a great conversation about, how countries and corporations, are potentially going to adopt this in the future. I think again, I'm going to stress that, you know, you can buy Bitcoin and, maybe invest in other cryptocurrencies. But I think, really kind of for those who are inclined, especially young people, really start to understand the technology because it is going to be world changing. Bitcoin exists in its own space. I think that's going to be kind of the global uh, currency. I mean, it's kind of the winner. It's not just about technology. There's a lot of better technologies in blockchain, but this has global adoption, has the most money behind it, and the more money it secures, the more secure the network is. I mean, so it kind of has already won that fight, I think.
Yeah.
But so it's you can't create a, a secure network as secure as the Bitcoin network. You can create other things on top of it and other things that interoperate, and that's going to happen. If you think about energy, right? Or let's just think about COVID, right? The world is in a different place. I mean, the United States is kind of starting to look more inward and without as much globalism. I mean, who knows who's going to win that battle? But energy markets, right? You saw when oil went negative last year, or at
Right.
least oil futures contracts. Um, the global market for countries like Nigeria to export oil, that's may not be as viable. A lot of other countries are looking at other things, and one of the things should be crypto mining. Right, that should be in Africa. I mean, it has abundant sources of energy, and one of the key things I don't think people understand is that for crypto mining, for most energy, right, you have to use the energy somewhere near the source. The farther you try to send that energy, you lose that energy along the way. You can only send it so far. Whereas with Bitcoin mining, you can monetize that energy and store it. It doesn't have to be used right away. It's not like a battery, and batteries are interesting. Um, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like liquid air batteries that use liquid
Oh,
nitrogen. You know,
no.
uh, the air we breathe is nitrogen, so it's very abundant. And if you compress it, it becomes liquid. It's very cold, and then it boils at room temperature. So most other energy production, whether it's nuclear, coal, whatever it is, they're just using heat to push to make steam to push a turbine. Well, you can push a turbine just by the pressure of the boiling nitrogen, and this, you don't need any special construction techniques to make this kind of stuff. So when you have renewables, now you have reliable ways to store them. Africa could be a huge energy market, and the way that energy is going to move around is going to be on blockchains. I mean, there's a whole, just like Lynell was talking about the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance. There's also like this Energy Web Foundation, and there's huge companies in that. There's huge, like IBM has blockchain projects. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's a real thing. And if Africa can kind of, figure this technology out, we can be leaders. I mean, like, look at the M-Pesa. I mean, Africa could have already been a leader in this space, to be honest with you. But I guess I just want to make another couple other points. One is that I think most people on here are Black, right? That listen to your show. So I think we really got to understand that, the legacy of, having our life energy stolen, we should be really diligent to make sure that doesn't happen. And if we understand banking, like he was saying, when they're printing that money, that's stealing our energy. We worked, we made a check, put it in the bank, and that value goes away. These guys print money, and they can buy gold, they can buy stocks, they can buy more labor from us. And that's, we should be there. Bitcoin is something we can do about it, right? If you hold dollars, you're just losing value day by day. You can earn yield on crypto as well. You can just hold it. It's not necessarily about earning, exponential gains, but you can hold it and just earn yield that you couldn't get at a bank.
And if you guys want to call in, email is ahuru@searchforahuru.com, ahuru@searchforahuru.com. Send me an email and I will send you the link. I'll go ahead.
And to go ahead, my bad.
Well, I guess I was just going to say last thing. You made a good point earlier where as banks adopt this, which they will, there's already some regulatory clarity that banks can use public crypto networks, to do transactions. And they'll just do that because it's faster and more efficient. With the Internet of Things, with these energy networks, with global banking systems moving into cryptocurrency, it's an inevitability that Africa is going to have to move into the space. Now, whether they're going to use cryptocurrencies as their national currencies and which ones, that's a debate, but I think that it will be some form of a central bank sovereign digital currency, and it'll probably operate on a blockchain because that's kind of the future.
Absolutely.
And to tie a few things you said, it's the network effect, and the network effect is a positive network. Whereas I'll give an example. Definition is the network effect is a phenomenon whereby increased numbers of people or participants improve the value of a good or service. So now you have other countries around the world who are starting to mine Bitcoin. They're starting to want what's the word I'm looking for? Skin in the game when it comes to mining Bitcoin, such as Iran, Kazakhstan. I think it was Kazakhstan and Pakistan. And these other areas of the globe are primed to be to put themselves in a position to mine Bitcoin. Some African countries are straddle the Sahel. Some African countries, the Sahara Desert run through them. That is prime sunlight where you can actually use the sunlight to mine Bitcoin. I know in Kenya, You have the hot springs. The hot springs is, or the thermal hot springs. You can actually use that to power Bitcoin mining. In Namibia, you have the Kalahari Desert. You can use that sunlight, that scorching heat, to
Right.
actually mine Bitcoin. So these countries can put themselves in a position to mine Bitcoin. And as more and more countries come online to mine Bitcoin, the network effect gets stronger because each country and each person, each company that are on Bitcoin would make it stronger and would incentivize other countries and companies and businesses to stay on the network because it's that strong. That the stronger the network is, the least of the least the possibility of the network failing. So now it's like a hive. It's like an organism at that point where the network effect is strong and everyone is incentivized to just stay on it. You know, it's a cool situation when you think about it. Is there's multiple levels to it where it's just cool to think about, to be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking of like the Volta River Project, Kwame Nkrumah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
any, and you can store, like to for a country to produce, and secure all that currency, physical currency. I mean, why would you want to take that expense? That would be like trying to maybe run old school telephone lines. You could just leapfrog with the best technology, like they did with
Mhm.
mobile.
Yeah, a lot of African countries are leapfrogging. They're the technologies that America and these other Western countries progress into. A lot of African countries are leapfrogging those, going straight into IoT, Internet of Things, going straight into a lot of fourth industrial revolutionary technologies. And one of them is blockchain and Bitcoin. They are leapfrogging it. Two, if not three, of the top 10 countries in the world where on Google Trends at least where Bitcoin is high at is our African countries, and ironically it's Nigeria. So the it's there, the writing on the wall, and as the years pass, that writing on the wall is going to become more bold and bolder. It's going to start to get underlined, and double underlined. So they really can't say, oh, I don't like it, and so because I don't like it, it's trash. No, this is a global thing. It's not just up to you, it's the globe. Everyone is adopting it. China is adopting cryptocurrency, in particular Bitcoin. China is an upcoming superpower. Depending on which economist you talk to, it's the number one and number two economy in the world. You have Russia, you have other European powers that Japan is very pro crypto. And
Yeah.
it's hard for a person or a country to stand opposed to this when they face the risk of falling behind when they
Right.
are already behind.
And let me say this too. As far as, like I say, we got to get our knowledge up. How do we do that? I mean, you could start with Crypto Black's class, so you know how to
Right.
get into crypto,
Yeah.
and then but if you're
Everybody, cryptoblack.net. Make sure you go to cryptoblack.net. And I'm gonna say this, man. Crypto Black is a bad, you know what? He predicted. He said Dynast. Now it's not at 50,000 yet, but he said Dynast is going to 50,000. I said, okay, Crypto Black. All right, whatever, man, whatever.
yeah. So I
And
mean,
it's close. It's close. So guys, cryptoblack.net. Again, cryptoblack.net. Go ahead and support that brother and get his course. All right, go ahead.
I mean, I guarantee you, education or investing in your education is one of the best investments you can make in crypto, is knowing about it. And now, if you could go on to YouTube and look up CS50. That's Computer Science 50. That's Harvard's introductory computer science class. You can get it for free. Then Google MIT Open Courseware and Bitcoin. You can take an MIT Bitcoin course. You watch all the video lectures, get all the readings. And most of this information, like these are open source technologies, right? You can go to their GitHub, you can look at the code. If you learn how to do this stuff, like blockchain developers probably make about $150,000 a year. You know, a lot of them don't make that much because they only want to work half the year, and then they invest in crypto and they make the rest of their money that way. But this isn't something that you need to go to college for. If you go to an employer, they're not going to probably ask you where you went to school. They're going to ask you to see your GitHub repository, see what projects you've done. If they look good, they'll bring you in. You'll do a coding interview. If you got the skills, you got the job. You know, and then you can do this from, say, Gambia, if you got good enough internet. So now you could live somewhere where the cost of living is a fraction of what it would be, but you're still earning in US dollars with the clients you have from over here. Or maybe you're earning in Bitcoin, better yet, you know, from global clientele.
Yeah, they call it geo arbitrage.
Yeah, like young people should be thinking about this because the barriers of entry are not that high. You just need to choose where you want to put your focus. And if you're dedicated, like, I don't know. I mean, not everybody is good with computer stuff, but if you're really dedicated and you want to know this, it's not rocket science. It's really not. I mean, most of the encryption is done by the computers. You know, I've heard of people who do websites. They don't code at all. They just go to these like Wix or Squarespace or something like that. They just have a good eye for design, and they make websites.
Yeah. Well, I make my own websites on Wix and everything, but because that's the thing, I was talking to a friend and he was like, "Yeah, I need to find a web designer." And I was just saying, you just go to Wix, Squarespace, or GoDaddy now. Like, you don't need a web designer really anymore, depending on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so like some of these coders that make these protocols, like on Ethereum or these other blockchains, they may not have that good design eye. So, you know, you might come into this in a different way. But, you know, I think everybody should educate themselves about cryptocurrency.
Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button. Also, if you're interested in getting paid in Ethereum and Bitcoin, affiliate link is in the chat room, is on the screen, is also in the description. Click on that link, sign up as an affiliate. I will get back to you. And also support the brother Crypto Black. Again, Crypto Black, he said he's going to run up to 50K before the end of the month. He's at 46. And what's crazy, when it dipped last week to like 32, 33, I'm like, crypto, you still think it's going to 50? He says it's going to 50. So, you know, guys, so support the brother, buy his course. It's a great course. So go ahead and support.
There's a YouTube channel called Black Blockchain Consultants, and they are a good source for people to go to get into the blockchain business. Also, they have courses themselves about blockchain. Black Blockchain Consultants. I highly recommend them.
Yeah, this is the future. So, guys, hit that like button. Let's see here. If you want to call in, email is uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Again, uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Old boy and them, if you can do me a favor, and I'll go ahead and put it out. If you can email me like the courses again.
Yeah, I can do that.
Put like a list together for people because they you know, they just, you know, so they can have it as a resource because a lot of people don't know where to go for these resources. So, you know, so they can have it in Crypto. Lynell, what was the name of the other YouTube page? Black
Blockchain Consultants.
Okay. Black Blockchain Consultants. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. Udacity is a good resource. For people that want to learn coding or anything in the computer field, Udacity, edx.org. I went on there and got a few certifications from Berkeley about blockchain and cryptocurrency, from the Linux Foundation about Hyperledger Fabric. Went on there and got a few. That's where I actually learned that JP Morgan took Ethereum's code and created a hyperledger called Quorum, which is a private distributed ledger. So, and these certifications you can actually put on your LinkedIn. I put mine on my LinkedIn where people can see that you went through this course. and got the certification from edx.org, from via edx.org, from LinkedIn, from these schools that put some of their courses on these websites. So the information is out there. Yeah, it's a good time. It really is a good time.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really late. I think people might think that, oh, they're late to the game. I don't think that's the case.
I think when people say, are they late? I think what they're trying to, there's a few things there. They're upset with themselves because they didn't get
Right.
in at
When it
a
was
good.
when it was 5 cents.
Right, right. Very few people. I've heard about Bitcoin, but from years ago, like a number of years ago, but when I heard about it, it was connected to the Silk Road and how it was talked about. It was saying that, oh, don't get into this because this is Silk Road's money. I didn't know. That was back in 2014, 2015. I can kick myself in the butt and say, oh man, if I would have got in now, I wouldn't even be here on this panel. I'd be somewhere laid up somewhere, but I
Right.
can't do that. And also when people say, oh, it's too late, they think they can't take advantage. This is what I think. They can't take a full advantage of what we're talking about. No, it's not. This is new technology. It's like saying, oh, since tantamount to saying, so since I didn't buy the first smartphone, I may as well don't buy smartphones.
Right.
No, this is going to get better and better and better. And since you're in it, you're just going to ride the wave, ride the wave.
Yeah. My wife, she's not technical at all, but I got her to just like buy some Bitcoin on Cash App. And then
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so easy to do now. I know everybody got Cash App.
Yeah, PayPal too.
And think about that. When I was younger and older people used to say they keep $5 or $20 in a purse or wallet. To me, that was absurd because it's like, why would you just hold money when you just spend it? Now, I'm not even their age when I was younger. I'm not even their age. And I just have a few dollars on me, physical dollars on me, just in case. But I do everything that I do in a digital version, haircut, Cash App, go to the grocery store, swipe my card. So we're already in a digital form of money. Now you have this other form that rides alongside this already digital economy. You're just stepping left or right. You're just stepping to the side. You're not stepping up or down. You're just stepping to the side. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, and they say time in the market is better than time in the market because you can't time the market. This morning, because I'm always talking about Bitcoin, my wife said, how's Bitcoin doing? I'm like, oh, it's not, probably about 38. And I looked and I'm like, oh, it's 42. She said, well, I want to buy some right now. Should I buy some? I'm like, well, I mean, I know you're going to buy right at the very top. I'm like, well, sure, it's still going to go up. She bought it. And look, tonight it's up $4,000.
Yeah, 47,000 right now, 40,005.
Oh, wow.
You guys got 47.
Right.
I'm telling you that damn crypto black. You're a bad, crypto black.
And so the same thing's going to happen with these corporations. Like you said, they're going to FOMO in. Countries are going to do it because nobody wanted to be first, right? But then nobody wants to be last.
Exactly. Exactly. And on top of that, if what's going to happen is these investors, like say these hedge funds or somebody that's a couple years ago, there was I forgot what the name of this company was, but they basically bought up enough shares of Apple to force, not Apple, but AT&T to force certain business agreements with AT&T because they felt that AT&T wasn't doing anything right with some of their business purchases were iffy. You're gonna have people, I kid you not, that say, "Hey man, I invest into this. Why are you not invested in the Bitcoin?" Yeah, no one wants to be first, but at a certain point, you're not investing in Bitcoin, and now your investors are looking at you sideways and like, "Hey man, what's going on?" You're not
Yeah.
investing in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's what the CEO of MicroStrategy was saying. He's like, look, I'm the CEO. My job is to deliver shareholder value. And if I'm sitting on money and they're printing this away, I'm losing value. So I have to find stocks, which are already at all-time highs. I mean, how high can they go? And it's volatile. You have bonds and gold. I mean, or Bitcoin. He said Bitcoin is the best thing. So, and now he's made a ton of money because he bought a bunch at like, what was it, 20,000?
Like it was, I think it was prior to 20,000, but it was around that area.
Yeah, so he just doubled his corporate balance sheet. Bam.
Right.
He looks like a genius.
Yeah, and yeah, he does like a genius. And now you're gonna have, in my opinion, you're gonna have miners that go public. You already have a few miners that are public. I think Riot Blockchain is one miner that's public. You're gonna have other businesses crop up around Bitcoin, other derivative assets to invest in that derive their value from Bitcoin. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Bitcoin, but it's the thing that these other businesses are going to derive their value from. You're going to have at some point ETFs that come out, like I mentioned already, miners that come out and go public. You already have a few already. You're going to have um, investment vehicles about the hash rate of Bitcoin. As more companies and countries go into the mining field, the hash rate is going to go up. So someone's going to come out with a product where you can invest into the hash rate of Bitcoin. It's going to be like that. So it's not too late.
Mm, mm, mm. We got a question. What can you say to those who have security anxieties or concerns when it comes to cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin?
Like I said, you don't necessarily have to invest in the physical Bitcoin. You can still have exposure to Bitcoin through classical ways, through stocks, ticker symbol GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. For every share that you purchase of GBTC, you are exposed to 0.00096 BTC, which is the equivalent about 30 some odd dollars right now. You can purchase it that way. At a certain point, more and more, like old Boynum said, that the OCC, which regulates banks and credit unions in America, they pass legislation that says, hey, you all can start custodying people's cryptocurrency. So as more and more banks take that on and say, okay, we're going to start custodying your cryptocurrency, you're going to see banks that say, hey, no, leave your crypto with us, we'll take care of it. So you don't have to have your crypto on your computer at home or in a hardware wallet at home. You could if you want to, but at some point in the future, you're going to have those options to custody your cryptocurrency with someone else that's reputable, that is SEC verified, and you can still have exposure to Bitcoin through a stock such as GPTC.
Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Now, would you trust having a bank, like we'll say Bank of America, keep hold of your Bitcoin?
Um,
Me personally, no, but that's
yeah,
probably not for everybody. I wouldn't say that that's the
right,
right
right.
answer for everybody.
Right, exactly. I piggyback on what you said. That's not the right answer for everybody because we've all been groomed to have bank accounts. We've been groomed to have bank accounts. Our parents have been groomed to have bank accounts. Their grandparents and their parents. So it's hard to break that cycle. People are just comfortable with having their money in a bank, and I get it. Be your own bank. That is the alluring thing. People want to do that, and for the people or person that actually take up that mantle of being their own bank, great, great. But for the people who are not comfortable, because it may be somebody out here that invested $15,000 in Bitcoin when it was at $1,000. And now they're like, well, I don't want all that money in my sock drawer or my junk drawer. I may lose it. So they like, you know what? Let me drop this off with the bank. And I know that it's their job to take care of my Bitcoin. And that may be comfortable with that person. And it's up to the person.
Yeah. And there's other institutions that maybe not, I know what you would call them, not quite banks, but like Celsius Wallet or Crypto.com. They're like centralized parties, but they've got insurance and things like that.
Yeah.
BlockFi, you could hold your Bitcoin over there. I think they give you over 8% interest.
8.6%.
Yeah, and that's on top of the asset. So Bitcoin's going to keep going, but you're still earning 8.6%. Now that seems better than a bank account.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The Fed funds rate is 0.02. That's like 0.2%.
Right.
It's not good. It's not good at all. So, and then they're talking about negative interest rates, which some countries have negative interest rates. Meaning,
didn't Japan have it at one time, or
Japan? I think Switzerland for some reason. I think one of the European countries have it. Japan, yeah. So the money you keep in your bank account, they're going to charge you to keep money in your bank account. If it comes to America, that's negative interest rates, ladies and gentlemen. Being charged to keep money in your bank account.
Here was a question somebody asked. Sorry to cut you guys off. If I have money in my bank account and I want to transfer it to crypto, now wouldn't that raise a red flag? Or what are your thoughts? How do you do that?
I do it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So you set up an account with US based crypto exchange. So Coinbase, Kraken, Binance US, Gemini. Those are the big ones that come to mind. Or Crypto.com or Celsius too. But you have to show them ID. It's like opening up a bank account.
Right. KYC.
So, yeah, they do all of that. Then you connect your bank account. You give them, your routing number or however they set it up, and then you deposit $100 transferred in there. And I think you can trade it right away. Maybe not the first time when you set it up, I guess. But once your account is all ready to go, you just you're able to take that $100 that you put in there, and you can buy different cryptocurrencies. And we talked about it last time. There's cryptocurrencies called stable coins. And those are just pegged to a US dollar. And most traders will use that to say Bitcoin went on a big run. They think it's going to come back down. They'll cash out into a stable coin, wait for it to come back down, buy back in, and increase their stack. Now,
usually when they cash out, do they cash everything out or just kind of skim off the top? Like
traders have all kinds of different strategies, right? I'm not really a trader. I do trades. I think it's important to understand the mechanics of, just being able to look at the chart and seeing what the order books are. And if you learn how to do a basic limit order, you'll save money. Like, I think if you use the Coinbase app and buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, it'll charge you $3.99, I believe. Mm-hmm. If you go on to the Coinbase Pro Exchange and do a limit order for $100, it'll be in the cents, maybe 20 cents or something. Right. So save money that. But anyways, you put your money on one of these exchanges, and then you can buy Bitcoin. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin at a time. You can buy $100 at a time, $5. I mean, whatever you want. And you can cash it right back out into US dollars at any point. Send it back to your bank account. Now, I'm not a tax professional or a trader or a financial advisor or anything like that. But
disclaimer, like, invest at your own.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I just accumulate. My whole way of looking at this isn't that I'm gonna sell it at. Well, okay, I probably will sell some towards the end of this year because I think it's gonna have a blow off top and retrace. But then I'm gonna buy back in. But my whole thing is to have a stack of Bitcoin. And what a lot of wealthy people do is they'll just borrow against their assets. And to me, I think crypto is one of the most no-brainer assets to own because it's so frictionless. I mean, it's easy. It's not like lugging around gold. You don't have the same like counterparty risks of, you know, stocks and other financial instruments. It's, you know, pretty straightforward, and you know, the value I think will keep going up. So say Bitcoin's at $50,000. I want to borrow $20,000 against it. Then Bitcoin goes to $100,000. Well, I can easily pay that off, and then just rinse and repeat. And that's how wealthy families, you know, hold on to their assets, you know, across generations. They never sell their assets. They just borrow against them and wait for them to go up in value. And while this asset with this money printing, that I don't see it stopping. You know, I mean, it could, I don't know, but you want to be an asset holder, right? Like, I don't know if you guys read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but they say wealthy people buy assets, poor people buy liabilities, things that lose their value. We want to have things that go out there and give us more value over time.
What are your thoughts on this is kind of off topic. I guess they're talking about canceling student loan debt up to $50,000. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Is there like a catch to it, you think, or because how would that affect markets? You know, because I don't know if certain companies own securities or whatever you want to call it, student loan debt. I think it's a federal thing or government thing. I don't know much about it, but how do you think that's gonna play out?
I don't know too much about it. Well, I don't have too much of a thought about it to have a comprehensive answer.
Okay. All right, guys, hit that like button again. Please hit the like button. And also, if you'd like to call in, email is ahuru@searchforahuru.com, ahuru@searchforahuru.com. Email is in the chat room. Again, email is in the chat room. Click on that. Send me an email, and I will forward you the link. Thank you for the super chat, Dollar Will. Technical analysis can help create safer entries and exits. Is not perfect, but it is too useful to dismiss. You can get close to tops and bottoms.
Yeah, right. I mean, so you want to understand market structure. You'll be able to see where support and resistance are. I mean, you can start to use like moving averages and things like that. But in general, for me, just personally, I try to keep my number of transactions kind of down to a minimum, and usually they're just buys. I'm just trying to buy and own assets at this point. But I would say to people out there, if you are interested in trading, I would go get some professional advice on how you can minimize your tax liability. You might be able to set up a special kind of LLC or corporation that you trade within. And, you know, if you have losses, you might be able to carry them further. And I'm not sure the ins and outs of that, but I do know that this is an asset. It's like a stock. And if you make a profit and sell it under 1 year, you are liable for like short-term capital gains taxes. So,
yeah, Dollar Will, my mentor for technical analysis. I do trade Forex myself. And to answer this question, I'm going to refrain from giving specific coins because it's easy to see that my knowledge about cryptocurrency in the space is vast. And if I say a coin and I say do your own research, people will take what I say as their research and they'll invest into that because they think they'll say, hey, you know, Lynell know what he's talking about. So if he said do coin, I'm going to invest it in do coin. And I don't want that smoke. So I'm going to refrain from talking about specific altcoins. Yeah, because you know, people can really slide into that.
yeah, and make sure you got some BTC. Like, don't just start right off the bat, you know, going into all these other altcoins because you see that the price seems lower. Like, you don't. I'm pretty sure Crypto Black goes over that, but you know, there is a way that you can somewhat objectively evaluate these coins. You'll look at, you know, the market cap. You look at the number of coins in circulation. You look at the number of coins that will ever be in circulation. So a small number, a small price for a coin that has, 20 billion coins in issuance, you have to find a way to, look at apples to apples.
Yeah, I can do a quick clinic on what to look for when you're looking at a coin on a market cap website. So let me share real quick, and then we can I can do a quick 5-minute on that. And let me share my screen. Dollar Will, what's going on?
Let me make it. I need to take some notes. Let me get my pen real quick. Let me get my pen. Let me take some notes. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. All right. What's going on, Dollar Will?
What's happening? What's happening? I wanted to make sure I had my mic muted, my feed muted. Can everybody hear me fine?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
I just want to, first of all, I just want to wave the flag a little bit for technical analysis because I understand what the traditional, what the thought of it is in the fundamental analysis circle. I want to say, first of all, the quote-unquote father of technical analysis is said to be Charles Dow of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So you're talking about a study, a price movement that's more than 100 years old. So we're not talking about something that's fly by night. There are certain on some of your SEC licenses. There's a section for it. So I don't understand why. I do understand why that it hasn't trickled out to the masses. That there's a concept of smart money and dumb money, and not to really hurt your feelings, everybody. But if you're not a technical trader, you're the dumb money. That it's just a fact. And what I'm saying right here, this shock treatment I'm giving you here, this is how I met Lynell. It was about 3 years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, whenever as Bitcoin was running up to that $20,000 peak. And they asked me I was on one of those 24-hour, one of those 8-hour hangouts with BGS and that crew back in the day. And they asked me my opinion. And I said, first of all, I'm agnostic about instruments. I don't really care. If it's good volume behind it and it's a trend that's recognizable, I'll trade it. So I'm not against anything except FOMO and cheerleading a thing. But my response back at the time was I wouldn't buy cryptocurrency with your money. I wouldn't buy Bitcoin with your money. And I went on to put up a chart and explain. And sure enough, I said one of the first rules once you become a trader, you learn don't chase anything, and especially if something is new and doesn't have enough price history, it will come. I don't like to say crash because these movements are highly structured. Once you get into it, you'll learn that there's like a rhythm to it. And my position then was it will come back down. You will have another opportunity to get it. So prices like lurch forward or higher to these very predictable levels. Okay, not exact, but I would say it's more than 50% of the time it's going to come within 1 or 2% of the exactly where you targeted it. Okay, it's not like it works too well to dismiss, and I want everybody to really give it a thought.
Yeah, I hope it didn't sound like we're dismissing it altogether. I'm saying for me, I use very simple things. I keep it real simple, but I was able to scoop up a whole Bitcoin under $4,000.
Yeah, I understand.
In 2020.
I understand, brother. That's the traditional. And most people, I even started out as a fundamental trader. Okay, in the stock world back during the .com bubble. Despite my youthful voice, I'm 56 years old. So, I went and, took a beating. And when the .com bubble, wrote it up and wrote it down. Okay. And you'll see a video. Some of y'all probably remember me when I wasn't trolling. It kind of seemed like I was trolling, but I've been starting fights and channels around these streets about gold when people were saying that, gold goes up forever. It's safe. Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. only knowledge is safe. I have a video on my channel and it said gold and Karat bar ain't ish. It's a little clickbait to make you watch it. But when you watch it, I put up charts, okay? It's highly objective. You look at the chart and I can show you factually that for long periods of time, we're talking decades, that if you bought at the wrong time, it could be over 20 years before you break even, okay?
Well, I would say that in crypto, though, you have to have like a 5-year outlook, because for Bitcoin, there hasn't been a point where you've held for 5 years and you haven't made money.
Well, from a technical trader standpoint, let me just say it this way: from a technical trader standpoint, it's cryptocurrency. The emphasis, the most important word in that is currency, not crypto. And that's and so when you look at it in comparison to other things like gold, the dollar, trends last a long time. In the stock market, we are in the longest bull market in the history of markets right now. We've been moving up since 2009. This thing is 12 years in the running. We're very we were saying overdue, but it'll end when it ends. But we're much closer to it than everybody knows. And so currencies, including Bitcoin, because it's BTC/USD. What you're trading is the relationship of Bitcoin to the US dollar. So dollar weakness is Bitcoin strength. So it's not Bitcoin in isolation. It's Bitcoin in concert with other things in the crypto universe. And I'm sorry, in the currency universe. And even that has a tie to commodities. So it's a highly interwoven relationship between currencies and commodities. And once you learn, you start trying to learn technical analysis and learn these complex, I don't want to say complex relationships, these correlations, you'll see where how the dominoes fall. And when you see the dominoes setting up and starting to fall one by one, you'll have some clues that, okay, I've made a lot of money in my Bitcoin. Now I should be concerned more about protecting my profit than making more money. There's a time when your mind has to shift where you have to become more concerned about preserving your money than making money. And technical analysis, we watch our fundamental belief, or pardon the pun, is that we don't know why people buy. We don't presume to say people are buying because somebody tweeted this or earnings came out or whatever. We don't even care why people do what they do. All we do is study what they do. We know that they bought, and we're looking at the volume behind it, and we're looking at how the money moves from one financial instrument to another. Everybody heard the saying that energy just changes. It doesn't dissipate. It just changes. And money is energy, and it moves just like that. It moves from one financial instrument to another. And if you decide to if you add technical analysis to it, you will watch the assets classes and how money moves. And even when something is about to, I don't even like saying the word crash, when something is about to correct, let me say that, revert to the mean, you'll know you'll be able to see on the chart where the money is going. So that will tell you where you need to go, because the big money in the world, the big corporations, the richest people in the world, the biggest countries in the world, they run all of it. And we're just along for the ride. So when these big countries say that, okay, we're tired, we want to get out of the dollar, okay, so that makes energy and metals go up. It makes euro and gold go up. It makes Bitcoin go up. But at some point, that technical analysis will show you the clues when it's happening. They will shift gears. The same big money that makes something rise, that same big money makes it fall when they decide to lock in their profits. So they sell and leave us holding the bag, because they tell us to just buy and hold and dollar cost average. But the richest people in the world and the countries in the world don't do that, but they tell us to do that. And so I want us to be a little considerate, put in a little time, Study a little bit of technical analysis. You know, there's lots of people out here on YouTube, you know, that are pretty good. I think I'm pretty good. I'm pop my collar. Lynell is working for a company now in 1 year, but he studied probably more harder than most. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. He did put in the time. He studied. He was trading, paper trading, probably 4 to 5 days a week. Okay, and constant consult with me, but it took work. So it's not. I'm not going to say it's easy. It is not easy. That's why in the trading world, the failure rate is 90%. So that's why you hear people say you can't pick the tops and bottoms, because the failure rate among traders is so high, but the education is so low.
Right.
That's the problem. It's not so hard that you got to be a finance major or something. And even that's a joke, because they don't even taught that in college how to trade. But it's something that someone with, I would say, junior high school education can get it.
Yeah, you can definitely get. I think you got to be cut out for that life, though. I mean, I think it takes a certain type of person.
No. Let me say this: technical analysis can be applied to all time frames.
Well,
Let me say this: you can trade your retirement account. When I say trade, let me dismiss this thing between trading and investor. Everybody's a trader. It doesn't matter if you held it for 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years. Everybody is buying an asset with the expectation that it's going to go up. It's going to be sold for you expect to sell it for a profit in the future. But we have this way of calling calling something a trade and calling something an investment. And a lot of times we're calling something an investment because we made a mistake. Okay. We try to justify the fact that it went down and we're throwing good money after bad. We call it an investment. Well, technical analysis can help reduce that. Now, you can be the riskiest technical trading is day trading. For some crazy reason, people get it in their mind that they want to do the most difficult thing first. They don't know anything about it, about technical analysis. They want to jump in and be a day trader with no education. It is the most difficult thing to do. But the principles are the same if you're trading for a day or if you're trading for a decade. It's the same concept. It's just sped up. The cycles happen faster. That's all.
Yeah, day trading is hard. I tried my hand at that, and I was trading more the euro pound, and I was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning when I know I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and trying to catch those candlesticks. It's more work. So now I'm a swing trader.
And when you say swing, you're trading mostly intra week, right?
Yep, intra week, intra week, yeah. So
right. So yeah, you can trade intra week, intra month, intra quarter. There's some people apply technical analysis. They're looking at the monthly chart, the weekly chart. So they're not jumping in and out all the time. They're catching a trend that might last, 9 months, over a year. So they might only make 2 or 3 trades in a whole year, or 1 trade a year. So it's up to you, the individual, to determine what your style is or how active you want to be. But the rules can be applied to every time frame.
Yeah. I'm on Live Coin Watch. Live Coin Watch is a crypto market cap aggregate like Coin Market Cap. I like Live Coin Watch only because it gives a little bit more information than Live Coin Watch. Not Live Coin Watch, but Coin Market Cap. Coin Market Cap is good. I just use Live Coin Watch. It's my own personal choice. But here we're looking at BTC. At the top, you would notice these little things right here. BTC says convert BTC and convert USD. Earlier, I talked about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, where each share you have the exposure of 0.0095 BTC. So I'm going to type this in and see how much that is in USD. So 0.00095 BTC, it's about $44 as of right now. That's how much BTC you have exposure to for each share of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. is like nice little easy converter that they have here on Live Coin Watch. Now, when you're looking at a coin, I'm going to compare coins. I'm just going to pick a coin from like the back page of the cryptocurrency market. Let's go to page 3. I'm just going to pick a random coin. My apologies if you are invested into this coin. So you got Bitcoin and this one called Monocoin. Actually, I need another one. I need one that has a lower tier, a lower volume. Let's do Namecoin. Let's do that. Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good. So up here you have some stats. You got market cap. Market cap is basically of the entire cryptocurrency market cap. How much of that money is attracted to Bitcoin? And Bitcoin's market cap is 872 billion, thus giving it a 60% dominance of the crypto market cap. So 60% of the cryptocurrency market cap goes into Bitcoin. That's a high dominance. That's a high, powerful magnet. The volume is basically every rolling 24 hours. This is the volume of money going in and out of Bitcoin, 39 billion. To go to Namecoin, its volume is 104,000. That's very thin. The reason that you need to look at that is because if the volume of a coin you're looking at is too low, then you become the market, meaning there's no one there that is willing to sell you what you're wanting to buy. And if there's someone there to sell you what you want to buy, it'll be highly difficult for you to sell it because no one there is willing to buy what you're willing to sell. So your sell order can be there for days upon days upon days. Whereas a coin that has a high volume, anytime you hit the buy or sell button, it's going to be filled immediately because the volume of money that's flowing throughout that currency. Now, also you have some other information such as the hour, 24 hour, 7 day, how much that coin has went up or down within that selected time period that you may be looking at. Also, you have the circulating supply. The circulating supply of Bitcoin is 18 million. 80% of Bitcoin supply, 18% of Bitcoin's total supply is circulating. So we have about 3 million that's going to be mined over the next 120 years. Max total cap is close. Total market cap is the same thing as market cap. As you can see, those two numbers are the same. Also, I want to do a scroll down to this. I've had people ask me questions. Hey man, where can I find trading pair, USD trading pair, BTC? Let's say you want to find an exchange that allows you to trade USD for BTC. Where here it says filter by exchange or pair. What you can do is click here and type USD and press enter, and it'll tell you which places you can find BTC/USD. You may have to click through to see which ones. BTC USD is on Currency Exchange, Coinbase Pro, and you can actually find which trading pair you want to purchase BTC with. Also coming down is the depth chart. This is a good depth chart. Let's go to Namecoin. Namecoin doesn't have this. It's only one exchange that holds Namecoin. That's highly dangerous. So if you see a coin that only has one exchange, the reason that's dangerous is because what if this exchange decides to delist this coin? Then there's no way you can sell that coin. Where are you going to sell it? Juxtaposed to BTC, all these exchanges hold BTC. This map is deep. This map is deep. You have this depth chart, meaning the closer you see these histograms in the back, these long histograms in the back, those are the orders, the depth of orders. And the closer the buy and sell is to the middle, that means the spread is thin. It's a thin spread, it's a tight spread, meaning the buyers and sellers are constantly agreeing on a price to Bitcoin. Whereas if these histogram bars were way over here on each side, that means the spread is wide, which means the buyers and the sellers are not really meeting on a price that they can agree with each other. Well, the name coin, it doesn't have it because it's no really buyers or sellers. You got the bids, meaning people who are trying to buy it, and the asks, people are trying to sell it. No one's selling this. No one is selling this. So just because a coin has a total supply of 10 million does not necessarily mean that coin will go up to $1,000. You have to come down and see if there's a market for this coin, if there's buyers or sellers who are actively trading this coin. If not, then you may be buying in something that you can't get rid of in the future. What I also like on Live Coin Watch is they have links to the coins. Excuse me. They have links to the coin's social media, such as Bitcoin. You have Twitter. You have all this other social media. Also, you have the GitHub. Since it's a code, you can come down to the GitHub. This GitHub map right here, it shows you all the commits, the upgrades to their project. It's populated. That means code. That means developers are actively working on this project. Let's go to Namecoin. We scroll down. Yeah, they may be actively working on this project, but I don't. It's not as is. You'll have some coins where this is bare, but Namecoin, you short of actually going to GitHub to see what kind of updates they're doing, I'm going to say that these commits are not on the same level as Bitcoin, because if they were, then there would be a market for Namecoin. It's not. So those are some of the things that people should look at. Just because a coin is $2 and it has a total supply of 10 million or 21 million does not necessarily mean that it'll go, quote unquote, go to the moon. If it has a thin volume, or if it has a volume like 2,000 or $100,000, that's very dangerous to invest in, because you may not be able. Let's say that coin goes up to $5 and you doubled your money. There may not be someone there that will buy what you're willing to sell.
Yeah, that's like certain penny stocks. It's kind of risky. That's why you shouldn't invest a whole lot in those. Same concept. The market is it's not big enough. You become the dang old market at some point.
Right. Yeah, and then with the technical analysis, I'm not going to bore people with this, but right here is Bitcoin's previous all-time high of $42,000. It was in a descending wedge. It broke out to the upside. You see this trend line? I anchor point this trend line right here and right here. And for some reason, the price respected that trend line right here for some reason. Why? We don't care. The trend line is powerful like that. And it bounced off of it and just went straight up. It's something beautiful. It's no technical knowledge. And Dollar Will is my mentor. I was the dumb money back in 2017. I hit a $12,000 profit on XRP, decided not to sell. Back in 2017, he told me, hey man, you need to sell that, because like you said, I wouldn't invest in it with your money. And at that point, I was saying, man, shut up, old fool. You know what you're talking about. I'm making money. No matter where I put my money in crypto, I'm making money. And come 2018, everything went down. And then I started to listen more to him. And back in 2020, February 2020, I took him up to learn technical analysis. So
see, I need to learn the technical analysis part, as far as the candlesticks and the charts and yeah.
Yeah, I'll say technical analysis is it's an umbrella term for a whole lot of different disciplines underneath it, and we fight underneath that umbrella about which ideology is better than the other. And so just know it's just not one thing. So you will find a lot of us saying different things. So if you don't know what our particular school of thought is underneath that umbrella, you know, it will confuse you. But just for clarification, I'm an Elliott wave theory trader, and I also which inclusive in that is support and resistance with what brother. I like your name, man. Old boy in them. I like that. Old boy in them. I know I said it right. I ain't got to ask you. I know that's how you say old boy in them. That's cool. Yep. but yeah, so the support and resistance is built into that. In fact, Lynell, I'm sorry, Dinas, can you put up that picture again that Lynell just had?
Lynell, if you
Lynell, put it up again, brother, and show that like that the top of that first spike, what we would call that wave one, and show how that price came back to that area. So what happens, because it sold off there before. And so when it came, some people, the market thought it was a bargain price at one time in the past. See at that bottom, the low. See where at the low point.
Okay, let me do this.
Is the low at like 32,000 or something like that, or?
I mean, I got old man eyes, y'all. I'm talking about the 38,000. See the 38,000 level?
Yeah, let me do this. Let me brighten the screen up. I don't know.
No, I don't have much to go. Just to show the see that 38,000.
Yeah, down here. Oh, 38,000.
Yeah, right there.
Right there.
Well, come down more to that. See that peak, that big peak, that first big rise.
Oh, right here. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm from the bottom. I'm sorry. Go to the low. The end of that. The end of the wedge. You know the
end of the wedge right here. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And that first swing up. Go all the way up to that swing. Right there. There, the market sold off right there. Okay, then it recovered, it went higher, and then it came back down to that general area. If you can put a horizontal line. So the market saw it as a bottom right there, because there was interest in that price. If you look horizontally, you'll see along in the past there was interest at that price, and the price returned to that level. And people saw, okay, it's not going to get away from me this time. There, and then one more up with that big. I'm sorry, where we were, the 30, right there. Yeah. There you go. That.
Because as you can see, price went up. This was an obvious top, and then it broke out. And you had traffic along this area, this horizontal line. It broke up, bounced off this horizontal line right here, broke through, and then came back up and hit it. This is just an imaginary line on the chart I just drew, but for some reason, market participants thought this was an area of
value,
value. And then it broke up, came back down, but it continued to be along this line for some particular reason. Market participants thought this was a great price to buy Bitcoin. Every time the weak hands, the people who come to the market who want to buy Bitcoin for the first time and invest, every time it sold off, they got scared and they sold. But other people say, you know what, that's a good value. I'm going to buy it up. And they kept bringing the price up because this is the $42,000 level. It broke down $12,000, but people bought it up and just brought this price up around this area. And then it just went up and broke out and just started going up and up and up.
And so you kind of see, then we're just doing a very, very crude, light analysis of that, because people have real money at these price points where if you have money at a price and the price falls below that line, you're psychologically committed to that level because you're thinking in your mind, I just want my money back. Okay, and so that's why you see price keep returning to that level, because some people are thinking, well, if it comes to that level, I'm going to buy. And people that want out, they're like, man, if it gets up to that level, I'm getting out of here. So you have both sides of the bulls and bears both showing interest in that level, but over time, of course, when it gets enough momentum, it'll power right through that and come back down to the area like that peak around 38, whatever I was saying, 37-ish. Yeah, you see it move, it start getting action around 3,700. You see that line?
Yeah, it's round right here.
Yeah, there you go. Come there, yeah, right there. Now come all the way to the right. Come all the way to the right.
Right here.
Yeah, there you go. The price danced around that level. So that's one thing. That's just one thing that we notice. We say, okay, the market sees value right there, and we're in an uptrend. And Lynell showed you how he had his trend line, and at the bottom we call that support. That's the floor. And so,
And
so
the floor was at what, 28,000, or am I?
So
what-
like the trend started right here. You see this obvious upward movement. What I would
Right.
do is I get my trend, I would anchor it right here
Mm-hmm.
and right here, and I would extend it out. And I would make sure that the trend pay attention to, oops, I would make sure I would anchor it at 2 points right here and right here. And for some reason, price came back down and regarded this imaginary line
and
as
pause right there. Look to the left. Look to the left, and you see
right
that
here,
30. There you go. Not a
right
coincidence.
here.
That is not a coincidence. That's psychology driving this. Market psychology. You can Google that term, and you'll come across some information that's helpful.
All right,
Market
so guys, if we're gonna go off this chart again, I'm just freestyling a little bit. Like I said, I'm still learning technical analysis. Do you think if it rises to, like right now is at 47 some change, if it was to drop, you think it'll drop around the 41,000 range?
By no, not at this moment. I just from my prior study of this chart, recent study of this chart. What are we? I think we're gonna have an issue. We're gonna have an issue somewhere around 30, 34, 35. Put that, throw a pie in my face, put it in the book. And so for a little test here, and just me, not Lynell, just me, I'm saying this. We're gonna have some issues around 34. I'm not saying that the price is not gonna have a minor pullback. It's gonna have insignificant pullbacks, just like you're seeing along this. I'm not saying it's gonna come down to this line again. I'm saying it's likely to go steeper and create a new support line. Okay, but we're gonna have. I'm not saying the price is going to hell, but I'm saying we are going to have a significant decline. And let me look at a chart of my own to see about what we're talking about. We would call this a wave 4 in this trend that we started. And we're going to have a little technical fun. I'm trying to find my, I got so many charts open now. Give me a second.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean it's fun. You know, like I said, I trade Forex. My pairs are euro dollar, pound dollar. It's a couple of yen pairs, but yeah.
I say around, okay, we should be fine up to around 51 for now. But then we're gonna have this is a fake out move. The little decline we're gonna get around 51, in my opinion, is to be ignored. And so we're gonna come from like 51 down to around in the neighborhood of 53. Now, if it goes to 52, y'all, or 53, can you give me that? You know, give me a little. You know, I'm not calling like saying it's gonna go to this is what the projection is for now. It can move slightly. It's not exact. Okay, so there's one thing we make a call, then two, we draw those trend lines like Lynell showed you, and it'll violate that trend line and have a minor pullback. So we should get to about 51, have a pullback to about 43. That's nothing to worry about. That's not the one. Right. Then from 43, we should get up to about 64. Just give me a window, 63 to 65, somewhere in there. We're gonna have some issues.
And again, invest at your own risk.
That's right.
Speculating. Don't hold nobody to this. You know, I need to give the disclaimer. Like again.
That's right. I am not a financial advisor. I am just a guy behind an emoji who won't even show his face, talking crazy stuff for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I'm saying learn technical analysis and learn the rules, and you can apply it on your own. If you want to be able to make these kinds of price projections, like what I'm doing, then the particular field you want to study is Elliott wave theory. I combine it with candlestick theory.
Can you say it again? Elliott what?
Elliott wave theory, and it's not easy. Okay, it takes a while. It takes a lot of practice, but it's the only theory that I know of that makes projections. Whereas most of what you see people trading or the trading videos online are people trading another concept called price action theory. And I would say that's inherent in this too. So I like price action is valid. I like that. Price action theory, you can read. That's probably the easy. That's the easiest one. That if you want to learn, try to study something that with in a couple of months, you'll be pretty decent at it. That would be a good place to start. But get a teacher, somebody, or if you just want to hustle some knowledge off of somebody who's giving up a lot of free stuff on online. Find one or two people and follow it and get it. But that would be one theory that is valid. Like I say, Elliott wave theory, candlestick theory. So those are the three that I practice and that I discuss in my group. Of course, I have a Patreon group, but also now on my channel, on my YouTube channel,
do me a favor. Shout out your YouTube channel, please, so people go subscribe.
It's Dollar Will, the way it's spelled. 2 L's in dollar, 1 L in will. I do videos about the S&P 500. I do chart analysis about the S&P 500 on my channel because I think that's just too important. So I give away a little free game on that because everybody's retirement account is tied to that. Right. But to go deeper than that, that's all on the Patreon. But I talk a little bit of Bitcoin every now and then and S&P 500. And I'm Dollar Will because I focus on the U.S. dollar. It's the most powerful or most important currency in the world. Okay, because that's the default currency. It's trades opposite oil. Let me just say energy in general. So that would be oil, natural gas, solar, all of it. Metals, that would include gold, silver. It's also opposite the euro. And of course, everybody, Bitcoin, Swiss franc. So just by watching that one symbol, you have the US dollar. You have your finger on the macroeconomics of the world. Just that one symbol. So I'm never at a loss for what to trade. I'm either going to go long or short gold or oil or something like that because everybody knows that runs the world. You can't run this industrial age without energy. Everybody has to have energy to keep the factories going to make the widgets. So it all shows up in that US dollar trade. And when there's crisis in the world, the whole world, basically, when you go to the store, you go to the counter and you hand them what? US dollars. You walk out with materials. So you are involved in a currency trade every time you go to the store. You're already a currency, a trade, but you're trading your fiat currency for commodities, okay? Groceries, which is a staple, or your washing machine, your car, your house. Your house is the biggest daggone commodity that we buy. You got concrete, steel. It takes energy to produce all that stuff. So all that stuff is very dollar sensitive. And gold is a hedge. So basically, when the dollar falls, the materials that it takes to make your house goes up in price, and that price gets that increase in the material cost gets passed on to you as a higher price to buy the house. And so when there's when the dollar falls too far, it gets stretched too far, there's a recoil. We call it reversion to the mean. And so the dollar starts to rise. Those metals and materials go down in value. The house price goes down. Gold goes up. Gold goes up when the dollar falls. When the dollar starts rising, gold goes down. And so once you learn all of that, how I just explained a whole lot of dominoes right there. And so you, as a technical trader, we're looking at those relationships change. Now, as a say day trader, swing trader kind of thing, whether that's intraday, intra-week, intra-month, we trade that and make money off of that. Because as we see on any chart, nothing just goes straight up. It kind of zigzags and squiggles. And so sometimes those something will fall a little bit temporarily, but we know that in the bigger picture it's an uptrend. So that's a trade for us. So, just to simplify it all. But
I want to, I'm not trying to bring negativity to the chat, but I want to read this message in the this post in the chat room.
I'm in a great mood. Bring on the critics.
All right, like when when people, if you guys can see the screen, while we over here looking at charts and unnecessary shit, we let a bunch of European amateurs outdo us from a damn Reddit group. Like, what are your thoughts on comments like that?
I take it as they're speaking what they know, because that's how the media drives us to think of it that way. I did a whole lot of shows when that was going on. What happened in my opinion, because I wasn't there, but the way that thing took off and the hedge funds lost money, somebody either was arrogant and didn't put a stop loss on it, or they used the wrong type of stop order. The hedge funds were not supposed to lose that kind of money. But we see what happened. And I said on the day when it went up, when it starts melting up, I said, we know how this is going to end. It's going to fall. GameStop is going to fall, and it did. So the little guy, good that they made it go up. I hope they sold. Because, you cannot bring, now let me make this very clear. I'm absolutely pro-Black Pan-African, okay, for a long time. But you can't bring your social justice stuff to this economic thing. You're going to be hustling backwards.
Facts.
You gotta accept this.
Facts.
You got to accept
Facts.
how the science of how this thing works, and use the market to help you get rich. It's like, just to go to a slight little veer. I love to hear Africa. Africa's getting exploited of its natural resources. The first world, so quote unquote first world countries, taking them the natural material, the raw materials, creating iPhones and everything else, and massive wealth for it. I would love to hear Africa say, you know what, we can't get the money on the front end, but we can get the money on the back end. We can buy Apple and these other companies using technical analysis. We can participate in the growth of the stock market in Europe and America, and we can, in doing so, divert some of that wealth back home. And as we grow and increase our political and military strength, we can later, secure and control the resources in the ground. But in a lot of the pro-Black spaces we got this complete anti-capitalist approach, right. And everything's Illuminati. I'm like, come on with that stupid stuff. So I'm just kind of hated everywhere I go, because I'm just arguing against everybody, because we just take stuff overboard. We got to learn how these things work. The gold is not always safe. A house is not always safe. These currencies are always moving in their value. These trends change. They trend for a long time, but we need to know what that is from studying the chart, and so that we don't get caught. Every time you see the commercial come on television telling you to buy gold, you need to think, the richest, most powerful people in the world, why would they want you to buy it? If you're buying it, it means they're selling it. So why would they give it to you if it was so valuable? When the price was low and it was shooting up from the dirt, from the toilet, those commercials were not on TV. Those commercials come on TV at the end of the run. So we're being set up to be the dumb money. But once you become a chart reader, that won't happen.
All right. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and start closing out. We'll start with you, Dollar Will. Go ahead with your closing thoughts, and also tell people how they can reach you and how they can subscribe to your channel at.
Yeah, I wanna thank y'all, for coming, for allowing me to come up here, because I know sometimes people kind of cheerlead for particular things, and I assure you, I'm not anti-crypto. I am not anti-gold. I'm pro-knowledge. Mm-hmm. So my channel is Dollar Will. Just as the name. Come on by, and I don't post that often. If you see me posting something, it's because I have a real strong feeling about something. So kind of like watch the post and kind of check out, you know, what happens in the couple of days after, you know, because I also talk about the marijuana space, because that's a lot of marijuana pharma. Because of, you know, the cooties, everybody know about the cooties. So marijuana, pharma, little bit of crypto, but a whole lot of S&P 500 and the dollar.
All right, oh boy, and them, go ahead.
All right, yeah. Also, pro knowledge. You know, there's a lot more we can do for ourselves than we realize, but we gotta, you know, take that initiative. So for that, I put that list of links. I sent that to you, to Dynas. So if you want to send that out.
Okay.
Or
absolutely.
put it somewhere in the links or whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Crypto in the now. Crypto. Lynell. He must be taking care of something. But everybody, Crypto with Lynell, go ahead and subscribe to his page. Again, it's Crypto with Lynell. Go ahead and subscribe to that brother's page. I guess the brother is preoccupied, but everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe, and we're going to continue to have these conversations. We're done debating if, you know, the Egyptians were ancient aliens, and are we really indigenous Moors? Like, this is this is more, this stuff right here. These topics are way more important. So until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.